Hi guys, welcome to our webinar. My name is Shauna and I am an enrolment officer and head of sales here at the TEFL Institute of Ireland. So I'm really excited about this webinar about teaching in Europe. We have some fantastic guest speakers who are actually on the ground doing our internship in Europe at the moment. So we have two from Spain. We have Emily and Michaela, and then we have Louise, who is in Italy. Okay, so basically for the next few minutes, I'm just going to talk a little bit through what is included in our programs, and then also what is the requirements for that. So I just want to double check that everybody can hear me once we get started and see me and everything's fine for you guys. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So basically, today I'm going to talk over a few topics, okay? So we're going to look at what's included in our European internship, the teaching requirements, and then the experiences from the guys. At the end, we're going to have a question and answer session, so you can put your questions in the chat, either for myself or for the guys on the particular internship. And we'll go through that then at the end once we've gone through it. So basically, I think in my own point of view, what I love about our European internships is I love Europe. I think it's fantastic. I think the pace of life and the food there is definitely something that everybody talks about. Italy is one of my favorite countries to go to, and it's so cheap to eat. So this is why people love to go there. Obviously, we have all the tourist attractions and you have everything to do while you're there. You can always work on your own language skills. So as well as teaching, you can work at picking up the language of the country. So it will benefit you in many ways. It's not just your teaching experience, it can grow your skills yourself. So basically, we're going to look first at our Italian package. So basically what's included in our Italian package is... Firstly, it's a 6 to 9 month teaching contract. Okay, so our next one starts in September. You have your monthly salary of about 1,200 euros. You get a welcome orientation in Florence. So I'm sure Louise will be able to tell us a little bit about that when we go forward. And then you get in-school teacher training, ongoing professional development, and opportunities while you're there. And you also have social events, workshops, throughout your time there. That'll help you to get, your colleagues and your students, and you get 24/7 in-country support from ourselves and also from our partners when you're there. Included in the package then would be your 180-hour advanced TEFL course. So that's the 120-hour accredited TEFL course, and then you have a 30-hour IELTS preparation course and 30-hour teaching business English. So that's basically everything that's included in the Italian package at the moment. And as I said, our next intake will be in September. Okay, so then we have a few requirements for teaching in Italy. At the moment, it's open to passport holders from Ireland. Okay, you need to be a native English speaker, aged between 22 and 62, and then TEFL qualified. So that is included in the package in the beginning. So you'd be qualified before you go. And then one of the good things about this is there's no degree required. So it's a little bit more open to people. So that would be our Italian one. We have locations all over the country. You can always express your preference of where you would like to go, but we can't guarantee that, obviously. Then our second program that we're going to look at today is our Spain internship. Now, this one's slightly different, okay? So it's a volunteering program. This is a 10-week one. It's a teaching placement, in Catalonia in Spain. The big benefit of this one, even though it is volunteering, so it's unpaid, is that you're no accommodation costs. Okay, so you're full board, you have your meals, your laundry, your internet, everything included with a host family. And on top of that, then it would be a very safe experience because you're staying with a family and you get a really authentic Spanish experience. Especially when it comes to the language, you would kind of have to be trying to speak a little bit of Spanish. So that would definitely be very beneficial for yourselves. You have your airport pickup and your in-country transport included. So usually the host family has a child in one of the schools, so they would bring you to and from school as well. which is definitely another benefit. You have a Spanish culture course, so that will give you in-depth culture awareness for the teachers to allow you to teach when you're there and to enhance your experience. Again, you have a mentor in the school that will help you with the transition. You have 24/7 in-country support, and then like the other one, you have the 180-hour TEFL certificate. So you get the 120-hour course and the 2 30-hour courses. Our guest speaker, Louise, who will be talking today, actually already took part in this one, and now she's gone forward to Italy. So she has experience from both of them, which is definitely fantastic. So we'll be able to chat to her on that and see if she does have any tips for us and what she would recommend and how she sees the differences between both of them. Another thing we also have for Europe at the moment, which is new and we're really, really excited about, is our Portugal internship. So that's a 10-month contract. Another benefit for this one is that it's rent-free accommodation. It's shared with other teachers. It's in the north of Italy, in Portugal, sorry, in a place called Viseu. Okay, so you have your rent-free accommodation, and you also have no bills when you're there as well. You get 2 weeks paid teacher training, and you have an allowance of 800 euros per month. You also get your 180 accredited course, which was the same one that we have in the other ones. And this is open to people who are between 20 and 35, who are native speakers, and bachelor's degrees are preferred for this one. Okay, so basically that's kind of all I wanted to say about the 3 placements that we have at the moment in Europe. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce our 3 guest speakers. We're going to go through some questions with them about their experience. So firstly, we have Emily, and Michaela, who are in Spain at the moment. And as I mentioned, Louise has been in Spain and now she's in Italy. So we have a couple of questions for them. So I'm going to go through those and we'll get them to answer and see what they think. Okay, so the first question here I have is, I'm going to go to Emily, and I want to know, why did you choose an intern experience with us, and why did you decide to teach in this country specifically? So let's see if Emily can answer that first, and we'll see what her take on things are.
Hello, I'm Emily. Well, I've always wanted to travel or live in Spain. I was supposed to move here like last year with one of my friends, and it just didn't work out. But I still had the dream in me to come and live here for a while. So I wanted to try out a TEFL course and maybe see if I could travel with it. So when I saw the internship, I was delighted to see that there was one in Spain and that I could learn as well as try out teaching and see Spain and experience a different culture. So it was really the package deal for me. It was everything that I had wanted to do, and it was all in one. So I was delighted to enroll and get going, start my experience here.
Perfect, that's great. Thanks very much. So it's basically that you kind of had always thought about Spain, so it kind of ticked all the boxes for you, and it was something that you were looking at doing for a while. Did you speak Spanish before you left, or do you have any Spanish?
No, I am actually not good with languages, and I still don't have Spanish. I pick up little bits, and everyone is fine about it. Like, they all know I'm the Irish girl here who doesn't speak Catalan, but everyone's lovely, and everyone tries to teach me little things, and you pick up on stuff you need to learn for the shops or for school. But no, it's great. Like, even though I do wish I had a small bit more language, it doesn't stop me from being here, because everyone is very welcoming and open.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm sure as you continue there and the more experience you have, you will pick it up, but it will become easier.
Exactly.
I'm sure, at the beginning it's difficult. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's ask Michaela the same question. So why did you choose the Spanish internship, and why that country specifically, Michaela?
Okay, so I started doing the 320-hour course, And when I signed up for that, I got a call from TEFL to welcome me. And I was talking with the girl, and I told her, my boyfriend is Spanish and I'm learning Spanish at the moment. And we were planning in the future to move to Spain. And so my plan was kind of in the future to be an English teacher in Spain. And then she told me about the internship because I hadn't heard about it before that. And she sent me some information on it. And I don't know. And I was delighted because it's a great way to practice and I don't know, see what it's
Perfect.
like
Yeah.
living in.
So it was just the right place at the right time. It was something that you were interested in, and it suited you to go there and get your experience in Spain, where it's somewhere that you had planned to go anyway.
Exactly.
Perfect, brilliant, thanks. And then for yourself, Louise, what made you decide Italy? Was it because you had such a fantastic experience in Spain and you wanted to continue it?
Yeah, I sorry for the breakup there in the video. I think there's a bit of a mix
Yeah,
there
there
on the
seems
video.
to be a little bit, but don't worry.
Be breaking up. But yeah, I'll if you can hear me okay, brilliant. We'll continue. Yeah, the reason why I went for the Italian internship was actually, Shauna, I found that for me, I finished my master's in NUI Galway, and I was looking for ways to travel. And I actually started with the 3-month Spain internship to see if I'd like English teaching. So it was more like I was putting my toe in the water to see if I'd like it. And I absolutely loved it. And then I went on and did the 6-month placement. Well, I'm doing the 6-month placement at the moment in Italy. And I've traveled a lot around Italy already before. So I found that I always had that love of Italy. And fun fact as well about me is I actually, I know I shouldn't say this, but I put a coin into the Trevi fountain, hoping I'd come back one day. And here I am. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's brilliant. I actually did that myself. I went to Italy when I was in school and I put a coin in there. So hopefully I'll get to go back there someday.
I'm sure you will. Yeah.
Definitely. Perfect, guys. Listen, thanks very much. So the next thing, I might stay with you, Louise, for this. So how were your first few months of teaching and what advice would you give new teachers?
Yeah, so I've been here, I'd say in Italy, about a month now, okay? So I actually landed in Pisa. I traveled from, I'm from Sligo in Ireland, so I traveled from right across the country to Ireland, then got a plane from Dublin to Pisa, stayed in Pisa for a few hours of sleep, and then I traveled from Pisa to Florence, which was about 1 hour, and I had 2 days training as a teacher with the school that I'm with, and it was fantastic. It was really good. It really kind of sets you up before you kind of go into the classroom, and you actually get to meet other English teachers there as well from Ireland, and it was fantastic. So I'm still friends with them and in touch. So they're dotted all around Italy, so we're planning to meet. So it's really nice. You have those Irish connections even before you start work in another country. So yeah, I actually stayed in Florence for about a week because before you start working here in Italy as an English teacher, you need to get what is called a fiscal code. So a fiscal code would be the same as a PPS number in Ireland. So I could get appointment. My appointment was about a week later. So I decided to actually make a week in Florence, and it was actually really cheap to stay in Florence. I was staying in a beautiful hostel, and it was fantastic. It was great. And Italy is very reasonable as well. So if you haven't traveled here, you'll actually find it a lot cheaper than Ireland, depending on where you go, but you can be really smart with your money here as well. And then I traveled then up to a lovely little small city called Piacenza. So that's where I'm at the moment. And I've been actually here about 3 weeks. So I've been teaching 3 weeks now and having a great time. So I'm about 1 hour from Milan, so it's a nice little destination, and very close to Parma and Bologna, which is very famous for food in the north of Italy. So yeah, I hope I answered your question. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're fine. It's great to have all the information, and I think that's one of the good things about our programs as well, is that you do have your orientation or your group, so you're going with people, you already have those connections when you arrive in country, so that you're not kind of on your own wondering where to start. You have people that you can meet up with or that are in the same position as you. And can I ask you, how would you find your teaching experience different between the Spanish internship and the Italian one? Oh, I think Louise has a little bit of an issue there, so we'll move on and I will go to Michaela next. So can I ask you, how were your first few months of teaching? Did you find it difficult? What advice would you give to new teachers?
Okay. Well, I'm on the 5th week now,
Yeah.
and I absolutely love it. It was a little bit difficult at the start, just planning the lessons, and I don't know, but I started to ask the other teachers what they're doing right now in English class and kind of base the topics around that. I have different levels of students, so depending on which class, it was a little bit harder to make plans. Like with the younger kids, I just played lots of games and stuff. But then I had some teenagers and they were harder to deal with because they just didn't really want to talk to me. But I really liked it. So some advice, just maybe ask if you have free time to sit in on an English class with another teacher to see how they do it. I did that and I think it's very helpful.
Yeah, I think it's good to see somebody doing it. Maybe it can give you some new ideas, and as we previously mentioned, that you have the group of people that have traveled with you or who are starting, so you do have those connections to ask around and see what people are doing to get new ideas and to have the support. And I think it's good as well that you have you have a range of different types of learners. So you're saying that you have young kids and teenagers, so it's fantastic for your experience going forward. You can decide then which you prefer and which is better for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's really great.
Funny. And Emily, what would you say for new teachers? How did you find it at the beginning and what advice would you give?
I found it really good. Like, I think the initial shock of, first of all, you have just moved to a new country and now you're going into a school, meeting everyone new. Like, it's a big culture shock and shock in general, but everyone was absolutely so welcoming, like welcome you with open arms, and everyone's delighted to have you here. So the mentor really helps you like get settled in the school and shows you around. I found with all the kids, they're just really interested in you more than anything. Like, I showed them presentations about Ireland and they're all amazed. Everyone here loves Ireland, and so it's great for them to get someone over here, like a native Irish person, and they're delighted. And I think that advice would be to just to embrace the time. It flies, and I think, make it fun for the kids. I think sometimes English can be a bit intimidating for the younger kids to learn. They learn a lot of languages here, especially in Catalonia. They have Catalan, Spanish, and English, and sometimes Castellano. So there's a lot for them to learn, and so make English fun. A lot of games and stuff to keep them really entertained and make it encouraging for them, because then they'll be more interested to keep coming and keep going with learning English.
Yeah, and I think for yourself as well, the more enjoyable the class can be, then
Yeah.
the better it'll be for everyone, for you and for the students.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to ask you what your typical day would look like. So how? the day goes
Um,
at school?
So my typical day would be I get up about 8 a.m. for school at 9 because I live like 3-minute walk, I would say, away from school. I'm really close. So I have school at 9 a.m. Usually for about 2 hours, maybe an hour or two in the morning, and then I'll get maybe an hour break and then another hour class and then a longer hour and a half break. So you get a lot of breaks in the middle. It's not a very long and strict day. And then I'm back in again at 3 to 5 in the evening for a double class. And it's very like broken up. The classes change. I do English, like all the classes are in English, but I do English class with some of them. Then the others are there's a science class that's taught in English, so I'm in that, and there's an experiments class where they're doing like a murder mystery project, and so I'm luckily getting to do that with the kids in English. So there's all different kind of things that we do in class. And then yeah, my school is done around 5. On a Monday, I tutor a boy privately after school. So he lives a few seconds away from the school. So I walk home with him and do an hour of private tutoring with him. He's in first of SO, like first year, like second year school. So yeah, I really enjoy that. And then after that, I just have free time. I usually end up just having dinner and watching a movie with my host family and
Oh,
relaxing.
that's really nice. And it's good to hear that you have as like Michaela was saying, you have a range of different students and then you have different experiences, different types of classrooms. So it's really, really showing you different ways of teaching English. And then
Yeah.
when you have your private class with one-to-one, it's another thing. So you're definitely getting a lot of experience while you're there.
Yeah, exactly. There's a range of different things I'm after learning, and I'm only here 5 weeks, so
Yeah, brilliant. That's great. And Louise, can I ask you then what your typical day would look like in Italy?
Yeah, of course. So at the moment, I'm contracted for 15 hours a week to give you an idea of the hours. But to be honest, I've done a lot more. So I've done a lot more hours than that. So usually, the school that I'm in, they're open from 10 in the morning till 9 at night. So I'm actually teaching a range of ages, mostly adults, and a group of teenagers as well at the moment. So yeah, I feel like I've experienced like kids working with kids in Spain and adults in Italy. So it's a really nice kind of mix and match. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of time to kind of explore and travel. You're off kind of the weekends, maybe the odd Saturday you might be in, but they only work from 9 till 1 on Saturday, so you're pretty much free for the day. But yeah, that's how like my day would normally work out. Usually about some days I could be in like from 5 to 9, or I could have a split shift where I could be working from 10 in the morning until maybe in the afternoon, a few hours till the afternoon, have a few hours break, and then I'm back in for the evening. But yeah, there's great time, like, and yeah, I think when I signed the contract here actually for the teaching school, I have to say they really look after their employees, and for women especially, because if you go on maternity leave or you're about to go on maternity leave, they really look after you, and after as well coming back. And for the women out there as well that are listening in, if when it's your time of the month, you actually get paid for that day, and you can take it off as well. So you can take a paid menstrual cycle day off, which is great. So that's a little bonus here as well.
Wow, they really look after you there. So, and what do you think that you prefer? Do you prefer teaching the children or the adults in your experience, and how they are so different? What would you prefer?
Oh, that's a really tough question, actually, Shauna. because both have their pros and cons. Okay, so I have to say, working with kids was great. I had a great experience, especially with the teenagers, because they were really fun. But with kids, they have a very low attention span. So you have to kind of like work on your material, make it really quick and snappy and interesting, and try and keep their attention for as long as possible. Whereas adults, they sit back and relax and they try and take everything in. And I would say their attention span is a little bit longer, but that's just my own experience now. And yeah, the adults, they tend to have a little bit more experience speaking English because they've already studied it in school. So they can communicate a little bit better as well. But if you ask me which one I'd prefer, I would say I would probably go with the adults because the hours are better. You have more sociable hours, I think, and you have more fun events as well that you can do with the adults. So in school that I'm in, we do events for every month, so they're themed. And yeah, you can really kind of get to know your students, and yeah, you become friends with them, which for me was a bit strange here, that you kind of become friends with your students. So yeah, I feel like I would probably say adults. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Yeah, it is a big difference, and that's why I wanted to ask, because I know some people specialize in children or decide to go down the business English route and stay with adults. So I was just interested to see what your take would be on it, since you have done it in both countries. So thanks for that. Sorry for putting you on the spot there.
No problem. No problem.
I'll just check in with Michaela now and see, does she have anything to add to that about her typical day? Does it vary compared to Emily's? I know you're in Spain as well.
No, it's pretty the same. I wake up at 8, I head to the school, I do like 2 hours, and then I have a half-hour break, and then another hour. Okay, more or less. And then at 12, I'm finished, but I go back at 1:30 to have my lunch. The school is like 5 minutes away, so I just go back and forth to the house a lot.
Perfect.
I go back at like 1:30 for my lunch, and after lunch, usually me and the other teachers go for a coffee, just in a little coffee shop that's close by, until the next class, which I have at 3. And then I finish at 4 and go home for the day, talk with my host family, sometimes go out for a walk or go shopping or anything.
Just to fill it.
I have like my morning classes are all of the primary school, but then my 1 hour in the evening every day, it's like 16 to 21-year-olds, which I think are my favorite because they're more interested in learning. Like I don't know, they really try to practice. With the younger kids, they're just like, oh, it's fun, you know?
Yeah, so it's something they're more maybe taking part in the class a little bit better. They really want to learn English. They can probably see the benefits of it. And that's probably one of the things we were just talking about, the difference between teaching the younger students and the adults. The adults kind of see the benefit of it. Maybe when we're kids, I think we've all kind of said, oh, what do I need to do this for? So they mightn't
Exactly.
really partake in the class as much. Maybe it's something that they have to do in school. Perfect. That's great. So now I will stay with yourself there, Michaela, and I just want to ask, what do you love most about living in Spain? And would you have any tips for anybody going or living abroad?
I mean, obviously the weather, because it's sunny here quite a lot. Even last week it was snowing, but the last few days it's been sunny and it's just much warmer. But probably my favorite thing is the food. I really like the food they have here. And my host family is really amazing. They're so nice. We always do things together. We're like going out for dinner once or twice a week and going for walks together and lots of things. So I really enjoy spending time with them. But I don't know, it's just a different way of life. I don't know.
Yeah, different culture, different lifestyle, and the food as well is definitely one of the big points when you're there, and the sunshine,
Yeah.
of course. I think
And
it's nice that you have such a good relationship with your host family, and Emily mentioned the same thing, that they do things together and watch movies.
yeah,
So it's really good that you have that kind of home feeling while you're away as well.
yeah, it's good. I think it's a lot more relaxed here. Like even with the school, it's not as strict as it is in Ireland. It's all more casual. Everyone's like friendly and they don't take it as seriously, I think. But also like in the shops during the day and everything, the way that the shops close for a few hours during the day, the fact that everything is closed on a Sunday, it's like, I don't know, more relaxing for the working people.
Yeah, it's an easier way of life. It's a much quieter pace of life than we probably have in other
Exactly, yeah.
countries. Perfect, that's great. And Emily, what do you love most about living in Spain, and what tips would you give to somebody who is looking at undertaking the program?
I think like same things that Michaela said with the food, the weather, the culture, like everything is amazing. It's great to get a new experience of a completely different culture to your own. As I said earlier, it is a bit of a culture shock, completely changing. Nowhere like it's nowhere near what Irish people are like. Even the first thing that shocked me was the kisses. Everyone gives them mwah, mwah. And I just was not used to that at all. Being Irish, I was a bit like, oh, but it's just everyone is like that. Everyone's relaxed and everyone hugs and kisses, and it's just lovely. It's a really nice place. And it's the same as McKenna said in school. The teachers are very relaxed with the students. The students are like your niece or your nephew, more than your pupil that you're going to give out to. It's very good close relationships, and especially in the school I'm in, they're in the school from 4 years old, or even some of them are in there as a play school from 4 months old, and they can be there till they're 16. So it's a real community, especially where I live. It's everyone knows everyone, and everyone is very welcoming. My favorite things about living here would just be the scenery. Where I live is in like the vineyards in the wine country. I live in like the Cava capital, and so it's full of vineyards and it's beautiful. I go on walks most days out in them, and they're really nice. And I'm also close to Barcelona. I'm only a 40-minute train, so I love going to Barcelona. My brother lives there, so I go up a few weekends and I get to go out there with him and see a city and explore new places. So yeah, there's lots to enjoy here, definitely.
Okay, perfect. That's great. And would you have any tips for anybody who's going? Anything that you think would have helped you before you went?
Um, I think just to I think I wasn't prepared enough for. I forget that everyone isn't just like Irish people. I think I was a bit like shocked with the culture, but just not in a bad way. Just the differences, I think I could have been a little bit more prepared. I just didn't really. When you come here on holiday, it's a lot different to coming into a Catalonian town, and you're moving into a community, not just a tourist area. So it is a lot different. But my advice would just be to embrace it all, try all the different things, try all the different food, and if you are living with a host family, to make sure you get out and see some of the sites or some of the historic things with them. We went up to a castle in this town last week, and I saw the sunset from there. It's a historic castle, and it was beautiful. So just to make sure you get to actually experience all the culture over here, as well as getting the teaching.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you. I lived in South America myself, and that whole cultural thing is very, very different to ours. And like when I arrived there, I thought it was such a big shock for me. But it's great then, it really changes your outlook on things and how you
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
approach life afterwards once you live in a different country and you say, God, maybe we can change it up a little bit or take on
Yeah,
board what other
exactly.
people do.
I think I'll probably go home kissing everyone and have all our
I don't know if they'll accept it here
Yeah.
now. Okay, perfect. And then finally, Louise, what do you love most about Italy, and what tips would you give to anybody who is considering?
Oh, that's a really difficult question because I could give 1,000 answers as to why I like Italy so much and tips. I do see two questions that came there in the chat. One from Jackie there about lesson plans. I was going to help her there on that question. The lesson plans that you give as well, here at the school that I'm with, you get your lesson plans all prepared. So you don't have to do anything, you just have to revise them. And the one in Spain, you have to, my experience in the school that I was in, I had to create my own lesson plans. So I come from a media background, so I did a lot of media work there. So I hope that answers your question. And there's one there as well about the age and monthly wage of cost of living. So yeah, there's you can teach at any age from what I see in my experience. And the cost of living, to give you an idea of the cost of living as well in Italy, I'll keep this like really short, is, so for example, I was living in Dublin and I was paying for a 1-bed apartment. I think it was 1,800 during COVID there. And you can get a 1-bed apartment here in Italy for €500. And a lot of that includes your electricity bills as well. So that just gives you the idea of different living as well here. So just to give you an idea. But yeah, some of my favorite things, Shauna, I have to say, I think for me was the cost of living was definitely high up there on my list. I definitely noticed I was living more comfortably here than I was at home, and I wasn't stressing as much about different kind of bills. So I definitely feel like cost of living, food is amazing here as well. And the people are so friendly. So I feel like when you come here, they're super friendly. And yeah, I feel like the Italians have a great sense of like balance between work life and what you would like to do in your spare time as well. So they always kind of like look after you and make sure that, if your sister is coming to Florence, that, they'll give you that day off. So I feel like they really look after you here in Italy, which I absolutely love. Any tips for students that are thinking of coming over? Well, if you have any questions at all, you can follow me on TikTok at Louise Toll. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. But any tips that I would say right now, I would say, yeah, maybe try and save up as much as you can before you come over, because you will kind of have, the Italians are very social people, which I didn't really budget for before I came over. So like they like to go out every Thursday after work and have a spritz, and they like to go out for dinner maybe at the weekends. So you might find that you're going out a lot more than you used to back at home. So yeah, maybe plan for that a little bit. And yeah, tips. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, in January and February, it is quite cold, even colder than in Ireland. So definitely in my head, I was like, it's Italy, it's going to be really hot or even mild, but it actually is really cold here. So definitely make sure you bring the right clothes with you for the time here that you're coming here. And let me think, oh, if you're going to a supermarket here, you actually have to weigh your vegetables or your fruit, and you have to put in a little number and a sticker comes out, which I did not know. So hopefully that might help some people who are going over and save them the embarrassment that I went through.
Okay, perfect. So listen, thanks very much. So we're going to have answer some of the questions now that are in the chat. I know that Louise has already gone through one. With regards to the age limit, our Italian internship is from 22 until 62, so 55 is a fine age for that. There's a question here as well about non-native English in Spain. So currently, in Italy, currently our partners just accept an Irish passport for that one. So it would be only open to that at the moment. If you all need any more advice or anything on recruitment, you can always send an email to recruitment@tefl.ie, and my colleague will definitely be able to advise you on that, on some specific things. So there's just another question here from Brian, and I'll leave you girls decide who wants to answer it. But what is the greatest challenge you face? Does somebody want to, will I choose somebody, or do you like to try it yourselves?
You choose, Joanna.
Okay, perfect. Well, you've already started talking, so you can.
Oh no, I did way too much talking. I was okay. Emily or Maka, if you want to jump in, feel free. Okay, so can you repeat the question, actually, Shauna? Sorry.
So what's the greatest challenge you face? So
the greatest
while
challenge.
you're there.
Okay, very good question. For me, the greatest challenge at the moment is actually trying to communicate with people here. So there is actually quite a lot of people that don't speak English. And when you go to like maybe cafes or restaurants. So I would say if you have the time, maybe look into doing Duolingo on Italian, just get a few little phrases going before you come over. But you do find when you come here and you're working around Italians as well, you will pick up the language really quickly. So it might be the most difficult thing right now, but you could be fluent. You actually can learn Italian, I've heard, in 33 weeks and be completely fluent. So it is possible. And yeah, I think that's, for me at the moment, it's the most difficult. I'm learning the language at the moment, so it's a little bit of a barrier, but I hope that helps.
No, perfect. That's great. And we'll come back to you in 33 weeks and see how your Italian is, to see if you can.
do test me.
Great. And what about you, Michaela? What would you say is your greatest challenge while you're there? Do you think it would be the language as well?
Yeah, I'd say the language. I mean, going into shops and stuff can sometimes be a little bit awkward, trying to find exactly what you're looking for, because the things are very different. But mostly ordering food in a restaurant, because I can never read anything on the menu. And I don't know, sometimes I'm there with my phone trying to translate everything, and it takes a really long time, and they're like waiting for me to order. I don't know.
So it seems like the language seems to be the biggest challenge, but hopefully once you all are there, you will pick it up. I myself picked up Portuguese living in Brazil, and I speak it fluently now, and I went there without anything. So it is possible. And I'm sure you all will be fine with that. And we always have Duolingo and all of those kind of things now. So they definitely help us. I just have a question there, the age on the Spanish internship. I don't think I actually gave the information of the requirements, so I apologize for that. So for our Spanish one, the age is between 20 and 30. You need to be a native English speaker, a passport holder from the UK, Ireland, Canada, Australia, USA, South Africa, or New Zealand. You need to be TEFL qualified, which is included. And then you have, in that case, you have no degree needed. So does anybody else have any more questions? You can pop them in the chat. Is there anything else that you would like specifically from the girls that we can help you with? I think Denise has just wrote in, I think, about the cost of living. She's living in Spain. So 450 euro for a villa in Oriela Costa, which is in Spain. I'm not sure exactly where. So that's good to know about the cost of living. So before we finish up, if nobody has any more questions, I'm just going to let you know that we have an exclusive webinar discount. So we have the code for our Italy and Spain internship package. So you can use the code Euro150, Euro 150 to get 150 euro off. And with that, I just want to say thanks of course, to our lovely guest speakers and our interns for giving us all their information and their experience today. I hope that it has helped any of you who are considering going. If you do have any further questions, you can send us an email. You can email me personally, shauna.white@tefl.ie, or you can send an email to hello@tefl.ie. We'd be glad to help you and guide you in your choice, whether it is one of our internships or with one of our courses. So I think that's all for today, guys. Thanks very much. It was really, really good for you all to take part. I'm very thankful. And as I said, if you do have any more questions, you can let me know, or you can send them in the chat there. Thank you.